is Gemini Connect. We are back with another GoPro review, this time with the Hero 8 Black and the Media Mod. As you can see, the Media Mod has some microphones built in, so we're going to be doing a sound test with and without the Media Mod, and also with some external microphones. These are mostly Rode microphones, but we also have little tiny microphones like this little Saramonic, and also the Edutige, which is what we're using right now.
Okay, now we're testing the Media Mod itself, and we are on each side of the camera, so I have it on stereo setting, so it's getting us evenly. Let's see what that sounds like.
So I am really curious about how this mic is going to do, because it's built into the Media Mod. So if you purchase a Media Mod, you automatically get a microphone built in, which is really cool. So hopefully the quality is better.
Yeah, the stereo setting is something new that we get out of GoPro right now. It also gets front and back priority, but obviously you cannot have an even conversation that way. So right now we have the Media Mod microphone on front priority setting, and there's the two of us talking to each other. Let's see how that sounds like.
The other thing to note is that when you plug in this Media Mod, all the other internal microphones on the GoPro go off, so all of the sound now is coming from that Media Mod microphone, unless you tell it to do otherwise.
Yeah, let's prove that by tapping it.
And even I'll come around to the back, so as I'm moving to the back, logically my voice should be a little bit more muffled now, but you might still be able to hear me.
Yeah, mine should be the clear voice, and Susie is also standing by the little waterfall, so that should be more so eliminated in this setting, front priority microphones.
The naked GoPro.
Naked GoPro, yes.
Let's see how it sounds. And again, we did previous testing before, and it actually showed that the GoPro Hero 8's internal microphones are pretty good.
That's right. So here it is, the Media Mod has been removed. We're in the same condition, so the sound should be just about the same. And we wonder how that sounds. There's still that little creek next to us.
Then let's change position. So kind of go on the other side, and you know the thing with this Hero 8 Black is that they put internal microphone facing forward, so that actually makes the person in front sounding a lot better than in previous models. So
yes.
If you're in the back.
So let's see how I sound. There's no wind in this area. The real thing is that if you have your GoPro naked, the wind is the real big thing you need to worry about. We're indoors, so that's not going to be a factor. But that's when you really need to do all the other trickery. So here's this mic. It's omnidirectional, but it also has the little elbow, so you can point it places. And this port is in a different place than it used to be. It used to be on the side really, but now it's in the back. So it's kind of awkward, but you can point it places, and more so point it forward like this. And it does have these other openings where it should be collecting more than sound just this way. So we can have this mic around here and see if it enhances anything compared to the Media Mod itself. Testing Saramonic microphone, touching it, and it's pointing out a bit, actually very close to where the Media Mod own microphone is. And we did pick a noisy location on purpose. There's running water and people chatting around us, so let's see what we're getting.
Yeah, and the Saramonic is one of the cheaper microphones that you can use. Another one is this little Edutige. So these are two really popular cheap options for external microphones, but again, you may not even need it now with this Media Mod. So it is in true Seattle fashion, pouring rain outside, but we have this little refuge here, which is the Amazon Spheres, which is really nice and warm inside. And so how do you feel about where we are right now?
Well, I like to come here a lot on this gray kind of day, because it's this vibrant green in here, and I really like that feeling that your mind can switch and get out of the rut. So one thing that is good about this Saramonic microphone and its ability to turn is that right now it's actually pointing at Susie. So that way, you know, it can be in my hand but point at her and hopefully balance out our voices when we're talking together.
Right, and that's been really important for two of us, because I tend to have a really softer voice, and so I usually have to be closer to the microphone.
So here's the Rode Video Micro, which a lot of people have for vlogging in particular, and let's see if it does any better than the Media Mod. It goes on the cold shoe of the Media Mod, which is a very good thing, and it can fasten, and then the port is right here, quite handy. And now though, it can only point one way, and that's really what it's like. So you will see that it will not balance out between the back and the front of the camera in case you're interviewing a subject, for example. But let's test that out. Right, we're talking to the Video Micro, and there's a little creek behind us, which is also where the mic is pointed.
This mic, many people also use it with mirrorless cameras and DSLRs because of how small it is, and it's still that, you know, shotgun directional mic, but as Martin said, the only problem is it only picks up sound based on where it's pointing.
Yeah, and let's make sure that is the one that is getting the sound.
And the other thing too about, you know, this mic and the GoPro is that you can mount it backwards. So if you're standing behind the GoPro and you want to pick up sound that way, but again, you have to go through that process of reattaching it based on where you want the mic pointed. So that can be, you know, a bit of a problem.
Yeah, and you couldn't turn it around so fast. So let's see, and I couldn't interview you, for example. Let's test that out right now.
Okay.
So right now my voice should be pretty dull.
Versus my voice should actually be a little bit louder.
And the little creek is on the left.
Yeah, so that adds some
is.
nice background noise, but yeah, again, my voice should be the one that you're primarily hearing right now. And another thing is that this is the wind muff that goes with the Rode Video Micro, and so the next thing that we're going to demo is how that goes on top. In fact, we can do it right now.
Yeah. Right, and now it's on, and if it was windy it would be fine, but there's now a muff in the view.
In front, but okay. So, you know, a lot of people have actually demoed this before, and their conclusion is basically you just don't want to film with that wind muff. But again, if you're outside and you're in a windy situation, you actually need to. But there's one little piece. This is really cheap. We use this again with our mirrorless and DSLR cameras, but you can also use this with the muff here. And so it's a bit of a two-hand job to get that on, but you know, once it's on, you'll have a setup where your wind muff is nicely elevated and should not be in your frame, or at least not as much as before.
Yeah, it's no longer in the frame now.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so you can get this little thing on Amazon. They're really cheap. For things other than just the microphone, again, the Lume Cube is another example of what we use this with a lot too.
However, now it's bigger than the GoPro, which is completely silly.
It is silly, but you know what? If you look at a lot of other YouTubers, they're using microphones bigger than that.
That's because
they're using, the Rode Video Mic Pro, which we also have, but it's, you know, bigger. And it arguably gets you better sound, but you know, that's what we're testing right now, is if that sounds any better.
Very silly. All right, let's move on. Now we're testing this little one, which is the Edutige, and we really like this one, and it's tiny. Without the wind muff, it's almost nothing. And though the limitation here is that it can only point backwards in this camera when you have the media mode on. Alternatively, you can use the good old, bad old mic adapter that GoPro sells, but then you need the other cage and all that kind of stuff. So this is what you get right now. And once I turn it on, now really I can get myself, and I will tap it, make sure it's recording.
Yeah, we'll do a little test. And so, you know, in a scenario like this, obviously it's not so good if I'm in front, Martin's in the back, and we're having a conversation. A mic like that isn't going to do a great job of picking me up.
Yeah, I'm guessing you're going to sound not good this time, and the creek is actually going to be well caught by the Omni mic on this side, so
yeah,
I don't know.
So like in this case, it's almost the same problem as the directional mic, but the thing with that Edutige is that it only points backwards, and you cannot, there's no way with the Media Mod anyway to point it forward.
Right.
So that's a restriction.
However, a good usage for this mic would be if you're in the wind, and the Media Mod cannot be protected from wind the way it's shaped, and you cannot put a wind muff on it, but this microphone can. So in a windy situation, when you need to vlog by yourself, you can vlog just like this. So we have more noise now.
The noise good.
Sprinkler is on right here.
Yeah.
But currently, let's say there was wind and I could be protected from it. So that's a big advantage of using an external mic that supports a wind muff versus the Media Mode itself. So we have here the Rode Go, and that's a really sweet microphone for this purpose. One thing that you can do is use it as a lav, which is great. But you can also even talk into it just like this. And since you have two shoes on the media module, you can actually have both modules and plug in one. The other one is wireless. Now, if you notice, I'm turning this microphone on, and it's required on both modules. That means you also have to go into the menu and tell the GoPro that it's a powered microphone with its own power source versus the other microphones we just tried. Now that it's on, I have to go into preferences and then input output and change the standard mic to powered mic. So now I'm recording with this concoction, and it's facing me, so this should be just about as good as a lav mic.
Yeah, there's that mic facing backwards.
You can protect this mic from the wind, though it's a little tricky. It is now protected. That shouldn't sound terrible actually. And it actually doesn't get into your picture. So this is your little windproof setup right here that you can improvise with. However, the good thing about that is that you can simply my magic trick. You can simply take this off and then clip it right here or right here. And now you have a lav mic on her, which is pointed at me, and this way we should be able to talk just fine.
Yeah, so we use this a lot like in noisy restaurant situations. We used it in like the Ferris wheel, and it works pretty well. So again, if you have two people and you need really targeted sound and there's too much, ambient noise and you want to really concentrate on your voices, this has been a really great solution for us.
Yeah, this should give you among the best sound you can get out of the GoPro. You may be able to do a little bit better by getting a high quality lav mic itself instead of just built-in one.
Okay, so in this case we have this wired lav mic. We're going to plug that directly into the Rode Wireless Go. It's so cute. It's so adorable. And then you can clip this, to yourself. If this was more official, you'd probably want to run this like up someone's shirt, but since this is just for demonstration purposes, we don't care. I'm just going to clip this, right here. And then we'll do a little sound test and see how this compares to using the built-in mic on the Rode Wireless Go.
Alright, the mic is on Suzy, and that should actually eliminate a lot more of this little waterfall thing next to us, so you should be hearing much clearer sound right now.
So another thing with this lav mic is that you can even plug this directly into the Media Mod, and if you didn't want to deal with the whole wireless situation, because these lav mics can be really cheap just by themselves, but the problem with that is that then you're tethered to your camera, and so you couldn't go further away, but you could do that if you really needed a lav mic solution.
Right, but now that the mic's on her, she can be always getting a constant sound while I walk away from her.
Yeah, we can be further away like this. I'm not even facing the camera. I can be walking out like this, and obviously there's a bit of a range where, with the wireless signal, we can't get too far away, but we can get pretty far away, and my voice should be constant no matter how close or far away to the camera I am.
That's it for testing. A few things to mention are that this thing costs, what, $80? And it is basically a cage and a microphone in one. And it also gives you more settings for prioritizing where the sound is coming from.
It also gives you a mic jack.
And a mic jack, yeah. So alternatively, if you wanted to do something like that, you would have to get the old mic adapter, which is right here.
Which you still could do, and this thing is about $50. So right now, we got a pre-order of this. This was not given to us, we bought it, but it's currently, I think, out of stock, and so GoPro is rushing to keep making these, so they're a little bit hard to get your hands on, versus this old media mic, which is, again, $50, still available, a little bit easier to get a hold of, but if you do this, then you need to get a cage with it too.
Exactly, so you need a cage and you need a microphone, yes. Yeah. Well, if you buy this, you have a pretty good mic, but you still have nothing to do about the wind. Yeah. So, choices. That's really, you just gotta choose. In our case, we have just about everything for every situation at this point, and the best sound by far comes out of the lav mics.
To conclude, let us know what you think. If you thought that one microphone or no microphone was doing better than the other, let us know in the comments below. And yeah, thank you for watching. See you in the next video.